I think we should start and people will catch up with us. But let me first start by introducing myself this week for new viewers. My name is Ronke Oduni, and I'm the lead facilitator of Lagos Jewelry School. Basically, what's on your bench is all about is showcasing what we jewelers can do from home, and we're trying to encourage working from home. Thanks to this COVID-19, we find ourselves rethinking, restructuring, re-strategizing our approach to jewelry production per se. So what's on your bench is going to encourage those of us that are considering it, or they are thinking about it, how is this going to work for me? Should I dive in? Should I not? So it's my pleasure to introduce to you Tejiri. A little bio about Tejiri. Tejiri, I met Tejiri, I can't remember the year ago, but the very first giveaway we did on LGS, she was part of the 4 participants, and she just got stuck with it. She came in later to come and take in courses, and I just saw her blooming, and I knew I just could not let her go because I was impressed with her. She's fast at learning, So there, and she joined our team. Basic goldsmithing students can talk about Tejiri. Let me just leave it at that. So I'm going to introduce Tejiri to you. Hey, Tejiri Smart. I cannot pronounce that other one, so I'll just say Tejiri Smart. So please, Tejiri, introduce yourself to everybody and a quick bio, your discipline, what you studied in school, how you stumbled on jewelry making stroke goldsmithing. Over to you.
Oh, okay. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Tejiri. I studied international relations and also French. So I have a background in international relations. I have a background in French. I started jewelry making in my, I think, 200 level. I can't remember because in school back then, because I attended Covenant University, and we had this we had like when you go home you have to do like something like internship for the long holiday, right? So you don't sit at home. So when I went home that year, I wasn't looking for a job, but my brother's wife used to make beads, so she actually taught me how to make beads. So from there I've been making beads, but I never took it serious, and I can't remember what year now. And I was like, okay, after my service and everything, I started making beads, but I knew that I didn't want to be like every other person making every other random thing, because you see everybody making same design or same kind of beads. But I was always looking for gemstone beads. So right from the onset, I've always had like gemstone beads, because I remember my mom used to have like a collection of jewelry, right? And I don't know if you can remember, there was a time I brought one filigree work to school. I don't know if you can remember, right? One of my mom's old jewelry, right? Yeah, so she had some like very interesting. Sorry?
You brought it back this year, at least more of the collection.
Yeah. So no, not part of the collection. No, not that one.
Oh.
It was a set that had like a bracelet and a neck piece and very tiny filigree. That we're trying to check what metal it was. Right?
Oh yes.
Yes. So, and I used to react. Like, I react to, if it's not good, I can't wear it. So, right from day one, it used to mess up my ear holes. And I always loved, like, little tips. I want to wear them. But again, if I wear it in the morning, before it gets to the evening, I'm already having injury, right? So, I wanted to make things that, with that. And something pieces I can make for myself. So during that, I remember the day I saw the LGS challenge. I was going for a job interview that same day. So when I saw it, I was like, what's this? Let me just even apply. I think that was my first Instagram giveaway. So I sent it to my younger sister that she should vote for me and same to my friend. I think she's here. Her friends, a lot of her friends, a lot of my friends, a lot of people voted for me. And by the time I didn't even know when I won, so I think he felt my handle. One of her friends that I am I think today is New Year. After the just and soldering class, after the class, I knew because I know my hands. I used to own a farm before. I had farms before when I was in school and after school, just before I transitioned to precious metal. I used to work in a farm before, like I had my own farm. So I've always loved working with my hands. So it was something that when after the piercing and the soldering class. Sorry?
Network is a bit bad, it's breaking.
Oh. So after the piercing and soldering class, I went back and I was like, okay, what do I need to like proceed, because I think this is something that I'm interested in and I want to do. I was still working, I was still making beads. I still had a lot of clients. I had clients that would tell me, oh, I had a particular client that would buy her original pearl, and she would want me to use gold clasps, or it has to be gold. You know, she would not mind the amount, but she wants it to be, it has to be gold. She didn't want the regular, whatever they sell in the market, or what other ones they call the Brazilian gold or whatnot. So I remember I brought one to help me make, and after that one, and she was talking to me and she was like, you know what, if you want to go into this, why not, like, you know, start from my siblings. Like, you know, I told them what I wanted to do. After that time, everybody was saying, oh, why don't you go for your master's? Why don't you go for your master's? I remember my mom traveled one year and I just told myself, okay, let me buy my tools and I'm ready. So I bought a lot of tools. Even when I wasn't ready, some tools that I know that it's not that I'm even going to start using them. But I just bought things that I thought I needed. And I registered for the class. And after the class, I was still, you know, I was one thing I had one partner. Because I remember in Facebook.
I don't know, but I can't seem to hear you. It's breaking. I don't know how we can sort it out.
Can you hear me now?
No. It's breaking.
So what do we do now?
I don't even know right now. Is there anybody with any suggestions? What happens when there's this kind of bad network? Do we restart? Continue, please. Let's just, I don't know. Let's just continue. It's breaking.
So, what did I stop now? Okay, so I had like tools. I know I joined one Facebook group back then. I can't remember the name of the group. And they were like, you know, everybody introduce yourself. I introduced myself. And they were like, if you want an accountability partner, right? So to keep up. So I know somebody picked me. I picked someone else too. So I always had, right from time, I've always had someone that used to check up on me. So what are you up to now? What are the pieces you're making? Yes, I still reached out to her a few days ago, right? Because I know she relocated to the US and, you know, yeah, she's not a Nigerian, right? So I always had like an accountability partner when it comes to like my metalsmithing. They'll always check and, you know, and things like that. Then by the time I joined LJS, I think people obviously, and you know, we always had like, I would say Jane was like an accountability partner. So even if we're two, but you know, also what are you up to? What next? And we're always doing like check and balance, you know, to like grow. Yeah, basically that's it.
So during this COVID, what have you been up to? What have you been doing?
Okay, so I know when I was in primary school I could draw, But it's funny that when I started metasmithing, everything about drawing I cannot just. So this COVID, I started rendering classes to like improve my drawing making. You know, I always come up with like yeah. So you know how I usually come up with like my sketches on pieces I want to make just before I make them when I bring to school to show you, right? Yeah. So I'm trying to like something like that, but this time around with pencils. Hello?
I can hear you. I thought you wanted to show something.
Sorry?
I can hear you. I can hear you. You just went. You stopped talking.
Oh, you asked what I've been up to, so yeah, that's it. I'm just making simple pieces, right? Because
So
I
can we
get my
see them?
inspiration from nature and architecture,
Okay.
right? Yeah, and I love colors. So this whole COVID period,
Just see
I
it.
have been
Your bench.
playing
Your
with.
bench. Your bench.
What did you say?
Your bench. Let's see. We want to see those things you've been doing. What you've been up to.
Oh, what's on my bench?
Yes.
So, I have the blue one. I have the blue one, yes. So on my bench, I have my bench pin, I have my saw frames, I have this one, I
Yeah,
have
the regular one.
obviously the green lion one. I have my soldering station. So for my soldering station, so when I started, I wanted to try out the different kinds of soldering boards. So I have like different soldering stations, and funny enough, I use each and every one of them because they do different things, right? So I have this one.
Okay. Is there any way you can turn your camera to let's see the table? We don't want to see your face. We're interested in on the bench. Of what is on the bench
I'm
right now.
going to do it because my team. Okay. So I have the magnesia board. I have the annealing pan and the pumice. I have the honeycomb. I have brushes, right? So this one is for soldering. I have this one for soldering. I have a lot of painting brushes. I have one to remove my silver dust, one for my gold dust. So because this is like yellow, so I always remember this one is for gold when I'm doing gold jobs, and this one is for silver. Right? I have my torches. I have the big one. I have the small one. I have my refill pan. I have like flux. So I realized that sometimes, so I use flux to point, and because the flux also act as pickling, right? So one day I forgot a piece inside, I think a piece of coffee or something like that. I left it overnight. So by the next day when I came back, I realized that it was so white, and I didn't need to pickle again. I just brush and like, oh, so I can actually leave things overnight and come back, right? So
We don't know what she's talking about. Tea flux. It works as a flux. So sometimes you don't necessarily have to pickle, but just to be on the safe side. Like she said, she left it. So maybe we should try that out. Leave for a couple of hours and see what happens. But it evaporates fast. That's just
yeah,
the
it
problem about it.
works. So that's why I put it in a tight, so it's tight.
Okay.
So whenever I want to use it, right? So for my pickling, instead of, so the aluminum plates, they don't work. So a friend of mine got me this pot.
Yeah.
Right? So I can leave the pickle solution, like the vinegar and salt, on. I can leave it for like days and nothing will happen. Like it doesn't, it won't have holes like the way we, the aluminum one. So this works for me, right? Yeah.
Because
So
it's
just like Jane said, she uses micro. Sometimes when you don't have lights, so I use so I put it on my. Yes, that's how I do it, right? I have
was made for.
I have my different file. She's laughing. It's not too much work now. You have to look for solutions. I have my caliper and my digital caliper and my the manual one. So during my last trip to Canada last year, I met two food dwellers, Amanda and Sasha. So Sasha gave me these sticks. So I just wrap my sandpaper on it and use it to. So this is what I use, this one or this one. So I got a smaller one and I have this one. So I have these little mandrels, right?
What's that?
I don't know if you see it. They are little mandrels.
Okay.
So what I did was I glued my 240. So I'll cut the 240 to the shape of this little mandrel and glue it to it, allow it to dry. So probably I want to use it. I do it overnight, like I did today, like this 90 days tomorrow. I have them, I have a lot of them. So it's I just attached to my flesh shaft, and I can, it's in less than how many seconds, inside of my ring is done, or any piece that has like, so they come in different sizes. So I just wrap like different papers on it, and less than how many minutes I'm done with 240 or whatnot. So another thing
project, stop stalling. You are stalling deliberately. I know
it for you. Okay, oh yes. So tomorrow is Mother's Day. So I made some, I sent them out already, but I still have like 3.
Okay.
Right? 3 rose cuts and little pendants for some of the amazing women around me that, so I made them. So these are the leftover.
Okay.
I'm currently working on so many abandoned projects.
Not talking, I can't see it.
So I have like coffins I'm working on. There are some other ones that, so my current project is the mixed inlay. So I have like mixed gemstones in a particular piece.
Okay.
Yes. So it's currently not on this table. Sorry?
I said that's interesting, mixing the gemstones.
Yes. So I have like mixed gemstones. in a particular piece. So I have them in like different sections. They should.
I couldn't see things clearly now. Put it on your table with the camera. What is wrong with you, this girl?
You want to see?
Yes.
There you go. Can you see?
Not so clear.
So you wait, when I post it, you see it. If you can't see it now, because there is nothing I can do.
So
I have
so we can see this girl.
Oh, so you remember the coral ring, right?
Okay. Maybe you should wear it on your finger so that I can see it, the ring.
Okay, let me take off the one I'm wearing.
Which one are you wearing? Let's see what you're wearing. You obviously made it, right? You don't need to ask. Move it closer.
Can you see it?
It's not so clear. Can you move it close to the camera? It's not so clear. I can't see. I'm crying here. I can't see it. I can't see it. It's sad. It's not clear. Yeah. See, Bumzimo is saying it's not clear. I'm not the only one.
Can you see this one?
So clear. It's not so clear. I can see that, but it's not so clear, unfortunately. I think, let me see. Maybe because you're backing your lights. Not so clear. Not so clear. That's sad. That's sad.
So can you see now?
I can see, but not so clear. I think the problem is the lightning in your room. You are backing it. Yeah, or yeah. So the light taking. It's not so clear. I saw that the ring you showed me is the coral ring, right? The one I like.
Yes. Yes.
So the other rings you are making with the mixed gemstones, can we see any? Is there any like a peep? Can we take a peep? Is it possible?
Okay. Oh, they are not rings.
Oh.
Just give me a second. No, they are not rings. Let me see if I can reach one of them. Okay, so would you give me 2 minutes?
Okay.
Would you wait 2 minutes? Because it's not in this, it's not here. So let me bring.
Don't worry, if you have to go somewhere, can we like? Are there any other things you can show us on the table? That's it. You don't need to go far.
Yes, for those that are.
Honestly, the network is messing us up right now. As in, you are breaking.
Okay, so for those that don't have alligator tape,
okay,
you can also use masking tape.
Really?
It helps.
Ah.
Yes.
But
yes.
Sorry, let me say one thing. I hate alligator tape, and it's like a club.
I didn't say you. I say for those. I didn't say you, because me, I know you will not use it.
I have one question. If for someone like me that hates alligator tape, that is a cloth fabric material, masking tape is paper. Will it not suffocate your fingers?
You get that?
As in the masking tape, it is paper, isn't it?
Well, I don't know anyone that works for you.
But you don't feel, the only thing I need to know is you don't feel like you're restricted when you're working with it, right?
No.
Fine. I own an alligator, so I will definitely not be trying the masking tape. But please protect your fingers. Don't be like me. My fingers are gone already, so I don't care.
Does anyone have any question?
Yeah, does anybody have any question? Do you have any acts? Okay, aside alligator tape, any other thing that you've been able to replace? Any tool, any other thing that is doing what it shouldn't be doing, like the one you're using to cook your crock pot? I know Jen will say alligator tape doesn't restrict. Who of you belong to the same gang?
I didn't hear what you said, sorry.
I said, I know Jen will say alligator tape doesn't restrict. You people belong in the same gang.
Yes, safety gang. That's why you always have saw blade piercing through your hands.
You need to see my fingers. They are as ugly as, I don't know if you can see it clearly. It's not so clear. Scratches
Oh
here.
yes, so by the time I resumed on my bench, every day I get a new cut, different fingers. So I had to like take a day off and okay, you know, I'm ready.
I can imagine.
So
One of the hazards of working from home, I've not been careful, which I need to be careful, is when you're disposing your saw blade. I have kids in my house, so per chance, unfortunately, thank God it was me that affected. I think a piece broke off, and I didn't know. You know when you're releasing from your person saw, and I stepped on it. Oh my God, it was
oh,
painful. It was painful, and I've experienced it before. Forgetting that, so one should be careful when you're disposing your saw blades. It was a tough call for me that I really need to be careful. Very small piece, and it entered my foot. But
yeah,
I
you
can
know,
see. Oh yes, there's a question I wanted to answer from last week. Somebody asked the kind of mop we use. There are different types of mops for different compounds, polishing compounds. I have the loose stitch. I buy any loose stitch I see, even though I prefer the German product. They are awesome. So if you're working with Tripoli, go for the hard stitched, tight stitch mops. But when you're working with Rouge, loose stitch mops, any brand. Sometimes I use cheap
yeah, so
brands.
I have like the small ones I put on my flex shaft, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So you must there are some other things like I know you have some those small ones.
Mm.
There are some small things in your drawer in school whereby you
Mm.
can just put probably you can put it in a tiny rod or
Mm.
maybe toothpick for those that don't have things like this
Yeah.
and you can use on your flex shaft.
Mm.
So because the tools are expensive, right?
Mm.
I tell people don't run away from it, right? You
Mm.
can, you know, start with whatsoever you have.
Mm.
I didn't have like a lot when I started, but you know, as time goes on, you just keep like buying tools and what works for you. Like
Yes.
when I do my when I'm making inlays, I don't use my files.
What do you use?
Yes, I use my grinder. I know you're looking for the easy way out. No, there is no easy way out.
I thought there was a magic word that you say abracadabra and it just files itself smoothly.
Oh no, 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 not at all. With the
Mm.
grinder in less than 10-20 minutes, I'm done.
But that's awesome though. Guess what? I know myself. It is the file I'm going to use. I will be lamenting as I'm filing, but I know I will use the
The
file.
problem with the file is it goes blunt in no time.
Yeah, and the stones will get stuck inside the file. You're
Yes,
right.
it goes
Mm.
blunt in no time. So that's the problem with the file.
Anyway, good news about grinders is they are readily available.
Oh, I
They are
can see Jane
readily
said she just had pliers when
available.
she started.
Yeah, she had just pliers. Like I said, I wrote it on the post. I just had a box. And melting touch that we're all screaming about is a lie. This blazer touch was what I used to, not this one though, my very first blazer touch was what I used to melt. So basically I was always melting. I didn't used to melt anything more than 15 grams at a go. So even though it would reduce the output of my production, but I was achieving that. Slowly I was working before I finally got myself a touch. So if you are sitting around saying, oh, I don't have a melting touch before I start, you are actually fooling yourself. You can start, and you know, you don't have to go in loud, as in fully into it. You start slow, you start small, and you will pick up. And I know you guys, I know most of you, you started small, but with time, the thing is, you are putting money aside. You will not make that, you will not break even. Because as you're making the money, you are getting one thing or the other.
You have to keep buying tools.
Yes, foreign exchange is
I remember my last trip when I was shopping for tools, and I can't remember what I wanted to buy. And you know, I think it was a mallet. I can't remember. So I can't remember what I wanted to buy, but I was holding two different sizes of whatsoever I wanted to buy. And I was thinking about the money and the use. And one very old man, probably he should be in his 70s or 80s. He's a jeweler too, and he walked and he was laughing and he was like, "Are you contemplating on which to pick?" And I said yes, and he said, "Go for the big one." And I said, "It's expensive." And he was laughing. He said he will keep buying tools that he's been buying tools. He's been in trade for over 40 something years. And he will tell me for a fact to go for the big one, even if it's pricey, but it's valid for your money, right? So you always keep buying tools because you always have to buy consumables, solid. Most of our tools are not readily available in Nigeria. In fact, 90% of the tools are not readily available in Nigeria. So, you know, you always have to stock up on solids, sandpaper. You always have to make sure your soldering torch is in good condition. It's funny that I'm a dreader because I'm scared of fire.
You are Lux by PF. And you guys are doing well. I tell people it's amazing. Oh, fire incidents. Let's talk about fire. TJ, can you remember that incident? Let me describe it to people. We're using the melting torch. The melting torch is attached to our cooking gas. And the next
12.5 kg.
Poof, the torch had leakage. Unfortunately, we had no idea. And it was a bit of a little explosion. And TJ just stood there. He was fixated to the ground. She was looking.
No, I flung the torch on the floor.
No, and you know, in your mind, you said you flung it. Witnesses, including me, saw you just look at the torch and slowly you dropped it on the floor. I was busy screaming, TJ, shut it down. She just slowly walked and moved back. And in her mind, she kept on telling us she flung it. You did not fling it, TJ. You were in shock. Luckily,
I had burns on my left hand, and my left hand was just shaking, right? I think it was Bella or somebody that gave me something to apply to it. And that day I said, I'm not working again. I just want to go home.
I was in shock. I was screaming. And she just stood there. She stood there. She kept on telling me, did you see how fast? Fast what? TJ, you did not move.
Well, thanks to people like Jane that helped me melt. And I also remember when we were at Baja.
Oh my God, yes, let me talk about that one too. Also, because we've had near fire incidences. So that day we've been planning, we're going to go out. So I was rushing everybody, pack up, and TJ, I think TJ, was it you melted? And that's the thing about wood.
Yes.
One lesson we learned is that ensure you put out, douse fire, douse bucket of water, pour it on whatever wood you're trying to melt. Because sometimes those silly woods,
I always have water on my table.
They have a mind of their own. They would not stop. So we did not know. Anyway, we're in Baja. Baja is in Surulere, right? We had gotten to Maryland because we were going to Yellow Chili. That was where I was heading anyway. And we got to Maryland, and someone called, as in one of my neighbors, as in the mall neighbors called and said, there's smoke coming out of your shop.
No, the person said your shop is on fire.
The way
you were driving.
I was driving. The way I turned.
And you started shouting, oh no, my shop, oh no, the building.
CJ did not say a single word. She kept quiet. She just froze. Meanwhile, Jane was busy calming. Okay, calm down. Okay, as the man was driving like Rambo, I was speeding, trying to overtake. I jumped into
And there
a
was
ditch.
traffic.
There was traffic. The next thing is, you know what? This silly Jane was as calm as it. He kept on saying, "Calm down. We will look for Okada," in that slow, quiet voice. We will look for
Comfort
Okada.
was sitting beside me, and Comfort was just praying out loud.
And
And we were
the
trying to look
the
for
bike
a
guy
bike.
got out of the bike and zoomed, and me, I was still screaming and crying. Oh my God, fire, fire. We got there. I got upstairs. I saw, in fact, before I got, we were on third floor. Before I got there, the whole floor, in fact, from outside, before you entered the
Everywhere
building,
was.
everywhere was in smokes. I went on my
And
on
you
the
just
floor.
fell on the floor and
I
started
started
crying.
I started crying. I started crying that I'm in trouble. I'm going to burn down the entire mall today. I am dead. What am I going to do? How am I going to pay?
And I remember someone was shouting fire extinguisher, and nobody had fire extinguisher. So while people were shouting fire extinguisher, I was busy shouting soap and water, soap and water,
I
right?
didn't
And
anybody.
somebody went to
I
bring
was on
it,
the floor.
and I think there was somebody came to the mall to buy something. There was a man there, and he brought his fire extinguisher, but it had expired. At last, it was the soap and water that worked, and by the time they quenched the whole thing, and everybody wanted to come in to see what we're actually doing in that place.
I think God has
Yeah.
been faithful to us in this because we
And
just need
after
to.
that day,
Mhm.
I know whenever I want to, after melting, I'll make sure I pour water on the wood. Sometimes I'll throw the wood because
Drown
I
the
don't.
wood with water just to be sure because that wood there. Let me give you one more experience. This was when I first started and I was working from home. And my school was in my school. So the wood I was using that day I worked overnight. I was already tired. I didn't know this same wood, this same nonsense wood. I didn't know I didn't put off the wood fire entirely. And the next thing I knew was I woke up the next morning, entered my room, and found out that the wood has burnt. The entire wood has
Oh,
burnt. And it was just my table that was still, it was charcoal. It wasn't, there was no flame.
yeah,
It was burning. Then my own table, luckily the wood of that table was really thick. So the table too was
yes,
already
that's the thing.
burning. And I had to douse it with water immediately. So imagine when you stop work at like 1 a.m. and you get up at 9 or 8 or 9, and imagine if there
And
was
everywhere is in
fire.
smoke.
So we have bad experiences. It just means we need to be careful. And we're only saying this story not to scare anybody, but just to remind
Not
you
at all.
to always be careful. You're dealing with fire all the time. Guess what? If you see me soldering or you see me with a torch, half the time I am saying prayer. I'm calling all the God's name I know because I'm always
I don't think so. I don't think so. You don't care who hold two big touches.
trust me. I think I'm used to it, but I'm always scared.
Okay, one thing I learned too was if you're not humble, soldering will humble you. Yes.
Mm. Did I
Soldering will humble you. Yeah. If you're not patient,
Did I
soldering will
think that you
make
are
you.
the
You have to
legend? What is
learn
going to
patience.
happen? That soldier thought to just be laughing at you. As in, soldier is the only soldier, piercing. Those saw blades. You'll
Yes.
be going in one direction and the saw blade will decide he wants to lead you in the opposite direction. Like, how far now? But so sometimes, see, one thing, I know so many people or foreigners don't like to hear it. Say a prayer before you start work.
True, true. Especially when you're soldering, you have to appease whatsoever God you're serving.
Yes, before you start. But it's fun and I always feel very creative. I feel, before, luckily I started this thing before I got married or had kids. So, and then my mom used to say something about childbirth that childbirth, you go through that pain, but the moment they put the baby in your hands, you feel very happy. That was how I felt before I got married. I knew that feeling when I had my kids, but before I had my kids, I was already experiencing that feeling with my job. I'm going through a lot. I'm getting angry, especially when you're in the soldiering stage. You are getting angry and you keep second guessing yourself and your moves. But the moment you finish that polishing, it feels like, oh my God, wow, I made this. Then when people sit and they go, wow, you made this. I've had instances where people argue with me that no, you bought this thing and you're putting your name. So it's a lovely journey. It's a journey that
Yes.
would employ, especially us women, to go to have a go at. And it's very rewarding, I can assure you. Expensive but very rewarding. But even though it's expensive, you don't need to dive into it and say you need 1 million naira. No, you can start with as low as 50K. Get the basic things. And luckily, Lagos Jewelry School, we offer opportunities for you to come in and rent space, rent tools, just to ease the
Yeah,
stress.
true.
Then you, as you're working,
Because
you're
the
putting
tools are
up.
not, the
Yeah, the
tools are
tools
expensive.
are expensive. Our dollar is not smiling. It keeps going up. Shipping costs. If aside shipping, shippers will give you high blood pressure. TJ, you know very well how many times I'm busy fighting with shippers. They've lost my goods. They don't. The last incidents. Remember, let's not go there. That
Yes,
one will never
I
go
remember.
through down.
Thanks to my sisters, yeah, they always help me out with, when they always help me with my so when I buy, I just send to them and I will wait because I'm not ready to deal with any shipper, so I will wait. That it's been an interesting journey so far.
I have one question. Just one more question. What is your favorite tool that you love so much of all the tools? What is your favorite tool?
I would say my flex sharp.
Your flex shaft. Hmm.
Yes,
Okay.
because for me it's a multi-purpose tool, right?
Mm-hmm.
With my flex shaft, I can do a lot.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and obviously my green lion sovereign, the one with the blue handle.
It goes
No,
with my
not
head.
black.
It goes with my
Your
head.
favorite color. Your favorite color.
So, one more thing, advice to people who are interested. What they just a word of encouragement for them.
Sorry, there's a question there. Is
Yes,
there
I can see.
any
Is there any
restriction
restriction on
on
being a
being
tool wholesaler in Nigeria? No, there is no
not at all?
restriction. At Lilybit, there is no restriction. The problem is capital, because this most of us are afraid to put our invest. I've tried it. Ask them last year. You invest so much in it, then we sometimes are a problem. Why you invest so much in it and you still have other people because they know they can get it cheaper when they buy online. When we say get it cheaper, it's not necessarily cheaper, but they are calculating because they've seen it on Real. Sometimes I don't even buy those things I'm reselling from Real, but because they've seen it on Real and they are calculating the shipping cost and everything, or if they can send it in, they can't buy from us. They are not necessarily cheap. But unfortunately, because we're Nigeria, we're a new industry in the tool section, the sellers who are not trusting us enough to give us like on a discount or give it to us and let us pay them back. So we ourselves are being careful. Then we'll buy. People are not ready to pay the costs. The tools are not cheap. There's no restriction in being a wholesaler, but the tools are not cheap. So we cannot afford to buy it in bulk for now. And I keep imploring those, if you have funds and you can invest in it, it's a good business. It's a very good business. If that, in fact, if only tools is all you're doing and you're not a jeweler, I can assure you, you would make money out of it.
Yes.
I can assure you that you make if you have the funds. Because if you don't have the funds, but I trust me, I will buy from you. I know those my people, they will buy from you. Yes, and it's because there's a gap. It's a huge gap, and because that is why I sunk myself into it. But last year, shipping a lot of things, and we are still spending on the school. I have a personal business, a brand. So many things made me step back. I might pick it up again this year. But if there's anybody that is thinking about it and has the funds, please go ahead. It's the more the merrier. The more the merrier. I hate the fact that I need something I have to buy from abroad and I have to wait a certain amount of days. I would love a situation where I can walk into a store and pick it up, or at least order online and they deliver to me at least the next day. I hate that I always have to wait. That waiting period. That's once they send you shipped, your order has been shipped. I start to wait. I'm constantly going to check my tracking number. Where has it gone to? Has it arrived there? It can be never-ending at times. So hopefully we'll get to a stage where we'll be able to get these things readily in Nigeria.
Sure.
Unfortunately, till then, we just have
Okay, so for as many as the more the merrier. So people that want to join,
yeah.
if you think this business is fast money, fat lie.
No, it's
Don't
not.
join because you're
No.
looking for fast money. No, no, no. I always tell my students, you don't want to join today and you think, oh, I invested 1 million to buy tools and you want to make your 1 million tomorrow. No, that's not how it works.
No.
And also you have to be patient. You have to, like I said, soldering will humble you.
Yeah.
Piercing, of course, would humble you. Just it must not be you want to join it. You want to join. It must not be that, oh, you want to make jewelry. You can say you want to sell tools. You want to refine tools. Another problem we have, there is no we don't have like a refinery to, like, like the way people send their scrap to abroad to Rio and they just, we don't have that
Yeah.
here. Like,
Yeah.
so we always have to, a lot of people are working on it. Yes, I know like several people that are working on it. We always have to like refine our own tools and, like melt our own scrap to like make another piece or, do something else.
Yes.
You should be okay. You should be patient. You should know what you want to settle for. I see a lot of people, they'll come and they'll say, oh, I like this piece and how much is it? And you tell them price and they'll be like, why is it expensive? Nobody sells gold cheap. And again, it's handmade, it's custom made, so it's not going to be cheap, right? And it's funny what these AliExpress people are doing. And I just discovered, because I can't remember, I was talking to I can't remember the jeweler I was talking to, and he was telling me he has like a mass order of, a particular, I think his name jewelry or something. And it's not gold, it's not silver, it's not plated. So what he says is you have to machine pierce, it's not hand piercing.
Okay.
And so that cannot touch it. I think the metal is really hard. It looks like gold. It's plastic, but I don't know how they did it. It looks like gold, so you cannot. So they just drill the hole for probably jump ring or something to attach the chain and all that. And it's all over the place. I'm sure that's what most people buy from AliExpress for like maybe 3K, 5K, and everybody is happy that, oh, I bought this from, it's so and so price. When people come and they say, oh, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is how much I have. No, you can't get it that amount, especially now that gold is not even smiling and it's dancing up and down.
Well, hopefully with this COVID-19, we'll be able to.
There's a question.
Yeah, I can see that. When you started newly, did you encounter a huge selling to customers, considering you put a lot on the jewelry and some pricing it lower than? Let me talk about my story. I don't know about you people.
Talk about your story first.
Huge selling, huge challenge selling to customers. Yes, I think it's a lot easier for you guys now, but when I started, no, at all. People, number one, you have to gain your customers' trust. I had to.
Yes.
I spent almost 2 years trying to gain my customers' trust. I spent an entire year doing exhibitions. In fact, that's how I stumbled on training to start with. Training wasn't my path. I wasn't interested in training. I just wanted to be a jeweler, people to see my brand name. But every time I went for exhibitions, all I got was, do you train? This is good. Do you train? That was it. So no, I didn't start making sales until later, maybe to the later end of the year, almost 8 to 9 months in. But I see quite a number of the new folks coming up doing better, because now there's awareness, which is why I say I love what I'm doing in training. The more the merrier. The more we are in this business, the word gets around to everybody. So like, oh, so they're doing this in Nigeria. Like the fashion industry, the people that started it are the ones that paved way for those that are doing it now. So the more the merrier. people would listen. I can tell you that more people would listen to you better than when I was doing it 10 years ago. I started November 2010. I started
10.
November, so I'll be 10 years this November. Iron Jury, Lagos Jury is 8 years. But Iron Jury will be 10 years this November. We had plans, but I'm not sure about this COVID. Or maybe I'm just trying to hide under COVID. But basically, 10 years ago, no. But over the time, it started to work out for me, and I know quite a number of people, even you guys, you have it better. It's still not easy, but you have it better now. So, and those that are pricing you lower, one thing I say is do not overprice. Try to price right so that you do not feel guilty when you lose that customer. The thing is, make sure your quality is good and price reasonably, but price well and reasonably. Those that price lower, I'll give you an example. For instance, there's a difference between, if you want to price lower, then maybe you'll be working with volumes. Somebody contacted me yesterday for name jewelry, gold, 18 karat gold. And the person directed me to a store in Lagos that sells 18 karat gold, the name jewelry. But they were doing it in bulk. So by the time I sat down and calculated and I knew the cost of gold and everything, I realized the only way it can pay me is, I told the guy, I said, fine, no problem. If you want me to do it at that price, I won't do just one. I'm going to do like 5 names. So I know that when I buy like 30 grams of gold, I will cut out, I'll make the sheet. But if I have to buy just one single one and cut out, when we start with 5 grams, we don't end with 5 grams.
Yes.
It's going to be like 2 grams at the end of the day. Then the remaining you're looking at, who is going to keep the gold? Except you want to keep, we don't mind. You bought it now. No, but somebody has to pay for that gold, isn't it? So if you want to, you need to sit down and analyze what you're doing. If you are going to put a particular price, think about, educate your customers. That's the major thing. I have to educate
Oh, I do that a lot.
Educate your customers. This is how it goes. This is what goes down into it. So that way the person can understand your reason for pricing that way. We charge for labor. We've calculated the overhead and everything that goes into it. Oh, we'll get
Tools.
there.
Consumables.
Yeah. That is going into it. And one thing I
Not
also
to scare anybody.
not to scare anybody,
But
there's a difference between silver, gold, and steel. I was talking to my people earlier on today. Sustainable jewelry. Your costume jewelry is not sustainable. Look at it now.
not
You
at all.
cannot melt your costume jewelry. Some people that have gold now can decide I cannot afford to buy another gold, but I'm tired of this design. Can you help me melt it and do something with it? And we'll just charge you for labor and cost of design or whatever, and you get something new. But your costume
Yeah.
jewelry, you'll be tired of it and you'll be looking at it. There's nothing
You can't do anything with it.
there's nothing you can do about it. You can as well say you don't even want to design and you sell it off. I know a lot of people that are selling it up right now. I know one lady that said that's what she used to pay her child's school fees because she doesn't have any money right now. But you see, it was an investment for her and she's using it now. She's utilizing it. Can your costume jewelry do that for you? And I know a lot of people that invest a lot. I've seen people that buy 100K, 200K costume jewelry. Hello? If you had used that 200K to buy some rings and bracelets, it will do something for you now. So I think we'll continue to preach sustainably, and we as jewelers too will try and price reasonably. Pay you, pay me.
True. Everybody. So if you have the money, go for gold, right? Then because it's value for your money. You can't resell your costume jewelry and still get that value that you bought it. But for gold, imagine you bought gold probably 30 years ago or how many years ago and you're selling now, right? Because I know it was cheaper back then. I know you did a post of how you bought gold for, I can't remember how much, and you sold and you were like, surprised at me.
In fact, I was so excited about that money that I spent it foolishly.
Yeah, so I tell people, because people come and they say, oh, I want to make this. I don't have the money for gold, but can I make it in silver? Yes. Is it going to tarnish? Is it going to go black? Yes. Depends on the wearer, right? But, you can always repolish to get back that shine or whatsoever. So for people that, you know, they use cream like and whatnot, they can react to silver. There are lots of people that, I know some people that they can't wear silver at all. They wear it in the morning and, you know, before the day runs out, it's
Okay, so
already going dull.
sorry. It's showing me that we are running out of time. 23, 22, 21 seconds. Go. So
Okay,
we just
thank
wanna
you for having me.
thank you. I'm so excited. We're running out
Anybody
of
have any question, you can always send me your questions
We have
and you
someone.
can always reach
Bye,
out to me
guys.
for anything.